Hello guys, good morning everyone. Am I audible? Is my voice clear? Very good. Okay. So today the next topic what we are going to learn is trade negotiations. Clear? So next chapter what we are going to learn is trade negotiations. I hope my voice is clear. Can we continue? Okay. Sir, first of all, before starting the chapter, let us understand what is negotiation. Sir, negotiation means what? I am bargaining. Negotiation means what? I am bargaining. Clear? I am bargaining. When two countries bargain with each other to enter into a trade agreement, I repeat, two or more countries are bargaining with each other and enter into a contract or an agreement for trade, import and export. That is called what? Negotiations. So technically, bargain is called what? Negotiation. So what do we mean by trade negotiations? So when two or more countries, I repeat, trade negotiation means what? Two or more countries are bargaining with each other to enter into a contract, to enter into an agreement. Clear? But why? For what type of agreement, sir? They want to import something, they want to export something. Simple, right? India cannot import and export without other countries' permission. Other countries cannot import and export without Indian permission. That is why two countries will enter into an agreement. But now question comes, is it very easy to enter into an agreement? See, India will have its own rules and regulations, terms and conditions. US will have its own terms and conditions. India will have its own terms and conditions. China will have its own terms and conditions. So, when terms and conditions of both the countries are different, then it becomes very difficult for two countries to come together and form a something called a negotiation or a trade agreement. That is why it's not that easy. That is why we call it as what? Complex interactive process. Complex why, sir? Because my terms and conditions are different, your terms and conditions are different, and it is not that easy to enter into an agreement. It takes a lot of time and effort. Clear? And it's an interactive process. I will discuss my terms and conditions with you. You discuss your terms and conditions with me. Engaged by whom? Countries having competing objectives. Clear? So I want something from you. You want something from me. Competing objectives. Sir, let us say I want to export something US already has. US will not allow me to export. I want to import something which I already have. I will not import. So always remember, competing objectives is also very important. Means what? I will export something what other country doesn't have. I will import something what I don't have. Clear? So in simple words, what is a trade negotiation? When two or more countries bargain with each other for import and export of goods and services. Clear? That is called what? That is called as trade negotiation. But now question comes, so trade negotiation is an easy process or difficult process? It's a complex process. Clear? No. Trade negotiations, clear trade negotiations are done through what? RTA. RTA means clear regional trade agreements. Clear trade negotiations are done through agreements called what? Regional trade agreements. Simple, small chapter, very easy chapter. So listen very carefully. Major chapters we have already completed. Now whatever 6, 7 chapters are pending, they are all small, small chapters. No. Sir, what is a regional trade agreement? In simple words, it says grouping of countries formed with the objective of reducing trade barriers. Multiple countries are coming together. I repeat, multiple countries are coming together, entering into an agreement. That is called what? Grouping of countries. Clear? When many countries, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sorry, when many countries come together in order to reduce what? Trade barriers. Let us say India, US, China, Japan, and UK, Australia. All these countries have come together. That is called what? Grouping of countries. But why these countries are coming together and entering into an agreement? To increase the trade barriers or reduce? To reduce what, sir? Sir, to reduce trade barriers. When many countries are coming together to reduce the trade barriers means, sir, there are a lot of restrictions for import and export, right? Clear, there are a lot of restrictions on import and export. Some goods can't be exported, some goods cannot be imported, some goods can be imported and exported only within a certain range limit, or you can say some imports and exports have a very high type of customs duty, like import and export duty is high. In some cases import and export duty is very less. So in order to reduce, I'm not saying to eliminate, I repeat, it cannot eliminate. Regional trade agreements will not eliminate, clear, will not eliminate trade barriers, right? Here it will not eliminate trade barriers. What it will do? It will only reduce the trade barriers. Clear? Now let us see the different types of regional trade agreements what we are having. The first one what we are having is unilateral trade agreement. What is it, sir? Unilateral trade agreement. Sir, in unilateral trade agreement, what happens is, clear, one country will give benefit to other country. I repeat, let us say for example US. US is a developed country. India is a developing country. Developed country will, I repeat, developed country will give incentives to whom? India. Why? To help India in developing, right? In simple words. See here, importing country offers incentives to whom? Exporting countries. Let us say India, clear? India, what is it doing? It is exporting, clear? And US is importing. What is India doing? Exporting. And what is US doing? Importing. Now, US is a developed country and India is a developing country. Now, who is giving the benefit? Developed country is giving incentives, some benefits to whom? Developing country India. But why? To clear why? To improve what? Exporting countries' economy. So, in simple words, when US gives, when a developed country like US is giving some benefits to developing country like India, that is, there is only one reason involved here. What is that? To improve exporting countries' economy, to improve Indian economy. When India exports more and imports less, what will happen? India will be under, you can say, surplus rather than deficit. Clear? When exports are more than imports, what will result into? Deficits or surplus? It will result into surplus. Clear? So, in unilateral trade agreement, one country is giving benefits to other country. Why? To ensure that other country will develop. Clear? That is unilateral. So in unilateral, how many people are getting benefit? So only one country will be benefit. Only one country will be benefited, right? Only one country will be benefited. Next. Next comes bilateral trade agreement. Sir, name itself tells. In unilateral trade agreement, only one country is getting benefited. Who is that country? Developing country who is exporting. Clear? Now, in bilateral trade agreement, it is what? It is a agreement between how many countries? Two countries. Here, what will happen? India is giving some benefit to US. US is also giving some benefit to India. So, when both the countries are benefited in a trade, in case of imports and exports, when both the countries are benefited, importing country also, exporting country also, that type of agreement is called what, sir? Sir, that type of agreement is called bilateral trade agreement. Clear? And it may be limited to what? Certain goods or services. See, I may not provide, India may not provide benefit to US in all types of goods and services. US may not provide benefit to India in all goods and services. They will be selecting, like in the agreement, we will select some goods and services where India will provide benefit to US. We will also select some goods and services where US will provide benefit to India. Clear? Example are, sir, European Union and Asian. Asian means what? Association of Southeast Asian nations. These are two examples of what? People who are having bilateral agreements. Clear? So I repeat, unilateral trade agreement may only one country will benefit. Bilateral trade agreement may both the countries will benefit. Clear? Unilateral trade agreement mein who is getting the benefit? Exporting country. Who is providing the benefit? Importing country. Why are they providing? To improve what? Exporting country's economy. But in bilateral trade agreement, what will happen, sir? In bilateral trade agreement, both countries will have a equal benefit. Clear? Then we have regional preferential trade agreements. Clear? Then we have regional preferential trade agreements. Let us say, for example, three or five Asian countries come together. And let us say three to four, three, five, some three to five Asian countries come together. They create a group which will reduce what? Which will reduce trade barriers on reciprocal basis. Clear? Let us say India, China, Pakistan. I repeat, India, China, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. These four countries form a group. Clear? These four countries form a group and enter into what? RPTA means what? Regional Preferential Trade Agreement. What will they reduce? They will reduce trade barriers. So there are a lot of restrictions for import and export. They will reduce the restrictions. I am not eliminating, I am reducing the restrictions between what? Three or five countries. Here, these three, five countries come together and create what? RPTA agreement. Next is trading bloc. So trading bloc is nothing but a group of countries which have, I repeat, it's what, sir? It is a group of countries which have what? FTA, free trade agreement. So FTA means what? Free trade agreement. Clear? It is what, sir? Free trade agreement between themselves. Sir, the free trade agreement means either restrictions will be very less or there will be no restrictions. Tariff will be, tariff means your tax. So whenever a group of countries are coming together and creating free trade agreement between themselves, that is called what? Trading bloc. Sir, what do we mean by free trade agreement? Either there will be no tariff, tariff means what? Customs duty, which we have already discussed in other chapter. Tariff is what? Tax. So either I'm reducing the tax for imports and exports, or I'm completely eliminating the import and export duty. That is called what? Free trade. But they will have what? Common external tariff. But they will have what? Common external tariff to others. Let us say for example, these are the group of countries, right? Clear? These are the group of countries: country A, country B, C, D, E, F. Clear? So these six countries come together and created something called trade bloc. Clear? Trade bloc. These six countries came together and created what, sir? They created a trading bloc. Clear? They created a trading bloc. No. So what happens if these six countries come to an agreement saying that whatever we import and export, it should be completely free, means no tax should be levied. I repeat, no tax should be levied. If country A imports and exports something to or from B, zero tax or very less tax. If country F imports something from A or exports something to C, it should be completely free. Either tax should be very less or there should be no tax at all. But if other countries who are not a part of this trading bloc, let us say country Z, country Y, country X, if these three countries wants to, I repeat, but if these three countries wants to import or export anything from trading bloc countries, I repeat, if outside countries, if any other country other than those who are in a trading bloc, if they want to import or export something, there should be a common tariff, means all the countries will charge how much? 20%, 20%, 20%. Clear? A will charge for imports and exports how much? 20%. B will charge imports and export tax how much? 20%. C will charge import and export tax how much? 20%. All the trading bloc countries will have a common tariff to non-member countries. Clear? I hope you understood. So what is a trading bloc? Sir, multiple countries come together and enter into an agreement. Clear? Multiple countries come together and enter into an agreement saying that whatever we are going to import and export within us, between us, within our group, there will be either no tariff or there will be very less tariff. But if someone is not a member of a trading bloc, if someone is not a member of trading bloc, can we charge different interest rates? No. I repeat, can we charge different tariffs? No. All the members have to charge a common tariff to whom? Non-members. Clear? Next. Then we have free trade area. Sir, what do we mean by free trade area? Group of countries eliminate all tariff barriers. Clear? But it is, see, trading bloc and free trade area are same. Let us take same example. Let us take A, B, C. These three countries are a part of trading bloc. Clear? These three countries are a part of trading bloc. Clear? These three countries are a part of trading bloc. And country X is there. Clear? Country X is there, which is a non-member. Clear? This is a member of what? Trading bloc. This is a non-member. If it is a trading bloc, what will happen? A, B and C will be like A, B and C may, between A, B and C, there will be free trade. There will be free trade. Clear? No one will charge tax to each other. But in case if X wants to import anything from A, B and C, A will also charge 20% from X. B will also charge 20%. C will also charge 20%. Understood? But now, in case if it is free trade area, the only difference is that everyone will have the independence of charging their own interest rate, not interest rate, sorry, tax rate. No. A is charging 20% tariff, B is charging 25% tariff, and C is charging 15% tariff. When every country in a group, every country, member country has a right to decide how much they have to charge from non-members. That is called as what? Free trade area. Clear? So what is common between trading bloc and free trade area? So trading bloc and free trade area, the similarity and differences are there. What is this? What is same between these two? In both these things, whether it is trading bloc or free trade area, there will be no restrictions in import and exports. Whatever you want to whatever tariffs is there, either tariff will be very less or there will be no tariff itself. Clear? That is common. But what is the difference? In trading bloc, all the member countries will charge the same import and export duty to non-members. But in free trade area, what will happen in free trade area? Every country, every member country has a right to decide how much I can charge from non-member countries. Example, NAFTA. Clear? I hope you understood the difference between these two. Sorry. Next. Then we have customs union. Clear? Then we have customs union. Sir, customs union is one again an example of trading bloc. Both are same. Clear? Both are same. There are two different types of agreements, but the context of agreement, the content of agreement is same. Clear? Customs union and trading bloc both are same. Next, common market, only the agreement name is same. Common market. Clear? Common market. Now, sir, common market, what will happen? Free factors of production. Clear? Free factors of production. Till now, what we have seen in clear, in regional preferential trade agreement, trading bloc, free trade area, customs union, unilateral agreements, bilateral agreements. So all the agreements which we have studied till now, all the agreements which we have studied till now only talk about what? Goods and services. No one talks about factors of production. Clear? Common market may, in addition to goods, in addition to goods, in addition to goods and services. Clear? In addition to goods and services, what is like in addition to goods and services in common market, what is also free? Factors of production. What are those factors of production? Labor and capital. What are those factors of production? Labor and capital. Clear? So in addition to what, sir? In addition to goods and services, factors of production can also move freely. Let us say European Union is there, Asian is there. Clear? So I can easily exchange labor, I can easily exchange capital without any headache. In where, sir? In a common market. And finally, we have what? Economic and monetary union. So it means what? Economic and monetary union is nothing but group of countries which share a common currency. I repeat, group of countries which share a common currency. Like example, European Union. All the countries in the European Union share a same currency called what? Pound. Clear? All the countries in European Union share a common currency called what? Euro. Not pound, sorry, euro. Clear? No. So let us revise once. Sir, what is trade negotiation? Trade negotiation is nothing but a complex bargaining, a difficult bargaining done by multiple countries having same objectives or different objectives, competing objectives. Clear? Next. And sir, one more thing. Trade negotiation is done with the help of what agreements? Regional trade agreements. Clear? Now tell me, one country is providing benefit to other country. Let us say developed country is providing benefits to developing country. Why, sir? Because it wants developing country to boost its economy. So in such case, how many people are receiving the benefit, sir? Only one person is receiving benefit. When only one person is receiving the benefit, what type of agreement it is? Unilateral. Sir, both the countries who are entering into international trade, I repeat, two countries, when they are entering into international trade, both are getting benefited. India is also getting benefited, US is also getting benefited. India providing benefit to US providing benefit to India. Such type of agreements where both the countries are benefited are called what? Bilateral trade agreements. Clear? Next. Then we have regional preferential trade agreements. Two or more countries, let us say 3 to 4 countries or 3-5 countries, 4-5 countries will come together. Clear? And they will reduce. I'm not telling they will eliminate, they will reduce trade barriers. There are called what? Regional preferential agreement. Trade barriers means imports and exports ka rules and regulations they will reduce. Clear? Rules and regulations they will reduce. They will not eliminate rules and regulations. Rules and regulations will reduce. Trading bloc and free trade area mein what is common? Sir, when multiple countries are coming together and forming a group. I repeat, multiple countries are coming together and forming a group and creating what? Creating a free trade agreement. What do we mean by free trade agreement? They will eliminate all the tariff. I'm not talking about rules and regulations. I'm talking about import and export taxes. They will eliminate or reduce all the taxes in both the cases. But what is the difference? In trading block, members can charge, clear, in trading block, members will charge common import and export tax. I repeat, in trading block, members will charge what, sir? Same import and export duty from non-members. Clear? That is called a trading block. But in free trade area, what will happen? Sir, members can decide how much they have to charge from non-members. Clear? One member can charge 20%, one member can charge 30%, one member can charge 20%. It all depends upon situation to situation. And customs union, as I already told you, is similar to what's a trading block. Common market. So till now, all the agreements what you have seen about talked about what? Exchange of goods and services. Common market may you can freely exchange factors of production such as labor and capital also. And sir, what is economic and monetary union? Sir, it is nothing but it's a group of countries which uses common currency. Same currency is used in a group. Example, European Union, which uses what, sir? It uses Europe, euros. Clear? I hope everyone is clear till here. Very good. Let us take a break of 2 minutes and then we'll continue with next concept, that is GATT and WTO. So let us continue. So till now we have seen what, sir? Till now we have seen agreements, what? Agreements relating to trade. Clear? Now these agreements are managed by whom? These agreements are managed by what? GATT. Clear? GATT stands for what? General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs. So next agreement what we have is GATT, General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs. What exactly do we mean by GATT? Clear? The GATT provided rules for what? International trade from 1948 till 1994. I repeat, GATT is an organization. Clear? GATT is an organization of multiple countries. I repeat, GATT is an organization of multiple countries, and this group created what? Rules for international trade. GATT created what, sir? GATT provided me what? Rules for international trade. How to import, how to export, what to import, what to export, how, from whom to import, from whom to export. All the rules and regulations relating to international trade were provided by whom? GATT. From which year, sir? Starting from 1948 and ending in the year 1994. Clear? It involved what, sir? Multilateral negotiations, not one, not two, multiple, like multiple countries used to come together. Clear? Wherein 8 rounds were held, means 8 countries may meetings were held, known as what? Trade rounds. Clear? Next. Earlier, it involved only in trade reductions. Earlier, GATT used to think only about tariff reductions, like reducing import and export duty during import and export. But in 1970s, after the Tokyo round, or you can say meeting held in Tokyo, they decided, in addition to tariff reduction, they also started discussing about negotiation rules. And in case if any problem occurs between two countries during import export, they will take care of dispute resolution also, dumping and licensing also. Sir, what is dumping and licensing? We have already seen in the other chapter. Clear? Next, agreements were informally called as what? Codes. Agreement between two countries were not called as agreements, they were called as codes. But later on, under Uruguay round, means when the meeting was held in a country, Uruguay, they were called as what? Clear? Multilateral commitments. Formally, codes were now considered as what? Multilateral commitments. Now, but what happened? GATT lost its relevance due to following reasons. Means WTO replaced GATT. Today, GATT is not there. Today, World Trade Organization, that is WTO, is there. But what was the reason that GATT organization did not work out? What was the reason for that? There are multiple reasons. Let us see. Reason number one, expansion of international investments. What happened? Sir, MNCs came, multinational companies, transactional companies. My business expanded by leaps and bounds. Foreign companies were coming to India. Indian companies were going abroad. So many developments happened. But GATT was unable to manage that huge impact, that so much of investments were there, that so much big LPG happened, liberalization, privatization, and clear LPG, globalization. So many things happened that GATT was unable to manage these things. That is reason number one. They were not as a part of GATT. Number two, liberalization of agricultural trade was unsuccessful. So GATT wanted to introduce agricultural trade also within its scope, but that was also not successful. Reason number three, clear. Merchandise trade increased and was beyond its scope. Agricultural trade was also not covered. Merchandise trade. Merchandise, I hope everyone knows, clothing, accessories. Inadequacies in structure and dispute resolution mechanism. Sir, it handled the dispute resolutions. It's not that, see, if there is any problem between two countries during import and export, that was handled by whom? That was handled by GATT, but problem that was not handled efficiently. That was one more reason. Then we have ambiguities being heavily exploited. So what happened here was developing countries and developed countries were there. Developed countries were exploiting the developing countries by taking loopholes, by identifying the loopholes in GATT agreements. Next, IPRs were not covered. Intellectual property rights were also not a part of GATT, which is very important, and became obsolete due to globalization, as we already discussed, and inconsistent with domestic rules. Means, see, India has its own rules. GATT has its own rules. GATT rules and Indian government rules were not were not a part of each other. They were contradicting each other. There were huge differences between my rules and international rules. Sir, when domestic rules and international rules are same, international trade will be very difficult. Clear? No. So what is GATT, sir? GATT stands for what? It is an organization. It is an organization. What is that organization full form? General Agreement on Tariffs and Trades. Multiple countries came together and they decided what rules for international trade. From which year, sir? 1948 to 1990, for almost 47 years. And it involved one or two countries, sir, multiple countries. And these are clear, and these are called what? Trade rounds. Rounds means what? Meetings. Earlier, GATT used to GATT used to consider only what, sir? Tariff reductions. But now, in addition to tariff reduction, later on in 1970s, clear, later on in 1970s, what happened? Later on in 1970s, they started taking care of negotiation rules, dispute resolution also, dumping and licensing also. Earlier, non-technically, what is the non-technical word for agreement? Code. What is the technical word for the agreement? Multilateral commitment. In which round or which country, when they had a meeting, they decided to convert this name Uruguay. And GATT is not prevalent now. GATT is not in existence now. That has lost its relevance, and WTO has come in its place. But why, sir? What is the reason for that? Reason number one, agricultural trade is not included. Clear, agricultural trade is not included. Merchandise trade is not included. Clear, and then we have IPR, intellectual property rights are not included. Then what else? Sir, globalization happened, liberalization happened. Lot of international investments come, which were not covered by this called the GATT. And whatever loopholes were there in the GATT agreements, developed countries used it against developing countries. And dispute resolution mechanism was there, sir, but it was ineffective. So there were many reasons why GATT lost its relevance. And who came in between? And one of the main reason was why domestic country rules were not consistent, were not similar to international rules. Due to all these reasons, GATT lost its relevance. Now, who replaced GATT? GATT was replaced by whom? World Trade Organization. Clear? World Trade Organization was established in which round? Uruguay round. Uruguay round was the last round where in GATT, and that was the first round where in WTO. Uruguay round started in which year, sir? September 1986. And it ended in which year? December 1990. Clear? Started in September 1986, and this meeting ended where? In 1990. Sir, so many years, yes. See, not one to multiple countries are involved, right? Every country has its own terms and conditions. Every country should take time to attend the meeting. It's not that easy to convince all the countries, right? That is why it takes a lot of time for every meeting, and in different countries meetings are there. And this WTO agreement was signed by how many countries? 123 countries. Means initially how many members were there? 123 countries were members of what? World Trade Organization. And this agreement was signed on which date? 15th April 1994. And this agreement came into effect from which date? 1st July 1995. See, if you write dates in exam, it will give a good impression in the exam. See, if you don't want to write, just don't write, just write. WTO agreements was signed by 123 countries, enough. But if you write dates, what will happen? It will give an additional impression. Clear? Now, what is the objective of a WTO? To facilitate smooth, free, and fair international trade. So, whatever problems were there in GATT, they became advantages were in WTO. Clear? So, WTO was established in which round? Uruguay round, which was held from September 86 and ended in December 1990. And it was signed by how many countries, sir? 123 countries. And when it was signed, sir? 15th April 1994. and it came into effect from which year, sir? 1st July 1995. Clear? Now, let us see what is the structure of WTO, like who are all the members of WTO. First, the highest authority is what? Secretariat, located in which country? Geneva. Clear? The highest authority in WTO is what? Secretariat. And where is the secretariat located? Geneva. Clear? Who is the head? Who is the head of secretariat of WTO? Director General. Clear? Director General. From among the members, they will select one director. That director will head what? Will become the head of secretariat located in Geneva. After secretariat, the second level is called what? Ministerial conference. Clear? From top to bottom I'm going, not from bottom to top, from top to bottom. Highest level, secretariat. Next comes what? Ministerial conference. This is the top level decision making body. All the multilateral agreements, all the decisions relating to multilateral agreements, all the top level decisions relating to multi-level agreements, who will take care? Ministerial of conference will take care. Then we have General Council. Clear? Third level is what? General Council. Sir, General Council will meet several times in a year. I repeat, Ministerial Conference will meet once in 2 years. I repeat, Ministerial Conference will meet once in at least once in 2 years. They may meet more than once, but at least once they have to meet in 2 years. But General Council, every year it will meet in headquarters multiple times. It might be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending upon situation to situation. And what will it take care, sir? It will take care of trade policies and dispute resolution. Clear? Next. Then we have Goods and Services Counseling and TRIPS. Clear? TRIPS Council. They will clear. These people will report to whom? General Council. And about what, sir? WTO agreements. Clear? So I repeat, how many levels are there? 4. Secretariat, Ministerial Conference, General Council, and Goods, Services and TRIPS Council. Clear? Now, secretariat is located where? Geneva. I repeat, where is secretariat located? Geneva. And who is the head of the secretariat? Director. From among the members, they will vote and select one director. That person will become head of what? WTO ka secretariat. Second level comes what? Ministerial conference. Ministerial conference will take care of what? All the decisions relating to multilateral agreements. And how many times it will meet, sir? Once. In how many years? 2 years. And then comes what, sir? General Council. General Council will meet where, sir? Headquarters in Geneva. When, sir? Any number of times in a year. It can meet once, twice, thrice, 10 times, 100 times. It all depends upon situation to situation. And it will take care of what? Trade policies and dispute resolutions. And the lowest level comes where? General Council, Goods Council, Service Council and TRIPS Council. These people will take care of what? WTO agreements, and they will report to whom? General Council. Clear? Yeah, simple concepts, small chapter, nothing much to like. There is nothing. Only when we were in part 1 of this chapter, that is trade agreements, there only you have to just remember the concepts. The rest everything, there is nothing to like. There is nothing conceptual here. You have to just remember the points. Clear? Now, what are the principles of WTO? Like, what are the objectives of WTO? Why WTO was established? Reason number 1: trade without discrimination. In GATT, what used to happen? Developed countries used to dominate developing countries. Developing countries used to dominate underdeveloped countries. That discrimination was there. There was no, you can say, complete discrimination was there. That favoritism was there. So that is why WTO told that any favor, advantage or privilege. Sir, if I am providing any favor, if I am providing any advantage, if I am providing any privilege to one country, one member country, I repeat, if one member country is providing a favor to another member country, it should be provided to all other countries also. Let us say US is providing some benefit. Clear? US is providing some benefit to India. Clear? Total how many countries are there? 123 members. 123 members may US is providing benefits to India. So this is called what? Discrimination. If US is providing benefit only to India, this is called discrimination. But in WTO agreement, this is not possible. So not only to India, to all other 121 countries also, US should provide the same benefit, same advantage, same favor. Understood? That is called what? Trade without discrimination. So if I am providing, I repeat, if WTO, if one member is providing a benefit to second member, it should not provide only to that particular member. Every other country which is a member of WTO should be provided with what? Same benefit. That is provided what? If India is providing any benefit to US, to all other members of WTO, same benefit should be provided. That is called what? Trade without discrimination. Then we have national treatment principle. Clear? It means what? Sir, country should not discriminate between its own products and foreign products. Clear? I repeat, let us say India. India में Chinese products are also available. Indian made products are also available. So India should not provide any discrimination between Indian products and Chinese products. Both should be treated equally in India. US should not discriminate between Indian goods and services and for its own goods and services. It should be same. So whether it is goods or services or nationals, everyone should be given same treatment in a country, whether it is domestic or whether it is foreign. That is called as what? National treatment principle. Then we have what, sir? Predictability. Then we have predictability. Clear? Predictability means what? Investments will be encouraged only when environment is stable and predictable. You should invest only in a country which is stable. Now let us say India wants to invest in Pakistan. Sir, Pakistan environment is unstable and it is unpredictable. What will happen tomorrow? When will bomb blast happen? When will terrorist attack happens? We don't know. Let us go to Kenya. Let us go to some other African countries. There are so many things going on. Iraq. So many things are going on. So WTO will promote, I will repeat, WTO will promote only those countries, investment in only those countries which are stable and predictable. Environment is stable and predictable. India may environment is stable and predictable. But Pakistan, Iraq, and some African countries, Boko Haram is there in African countries, ISIS is there. So all these things will make what? Unpredictable and unstable environment. So WTO will encourage you to invest in which type of countries? Countries where environment is stable and predictable. Clear? Next, freer trade. Sir, freer trade means what? Opening markets to encourage, clear, opening markets slowly to encourage what? Liberalization. Sir, earlier lot of restrictions. Now let us say India and Australia. Take an example like India and Australia. Today there are lot of restrictions between India and Australia for trade. Let us say India and Australia may there are lot of you can say lot of restrictions between Indian government and Australian government for import and export. Now what will happen? Slowly India and Australia will open the market. Means slowly India will reduce the restrictions for Australia and slowly Australia will reduce the restrictions for India. That is called what? Freer trade. When I'm opening the markets, I'm opening the market completely today itself? No. I'm slowly opening the market to encourage what? Liberalization. Clear? Slowly. There are restrictions are there. I know sir, restrictions are there, but am I removing all the restrictions today itself? No. Slowly I'm removing the restrictions. Next, protection of health and environment. Clear? I repeat, WTO will not allow you to do international trade. I repeat, WTO will not allow you to do international trade of any of goods, any goods which have a effect on human life, plant life and animal life. I repeat, WTO will not promote, I repeat, WTO will not allow you to enter into an agreement if those goods will have a bad impact on human life, plant life and animal life. Let's say that drugs are there, clear, narcotics are there, or any chemicals are there. If you are importing and exporting any drugs, chemicals or narcotics and those things have an effect on human life, they put plant life and animal life in danger, will WTO allow you to do that? No. Next, market access. Clear? Market access means what? I am giving you access to my domestic market, converting non-tariff barriers into tariff barriers. Basically, barrier is nothing but restriction. Clear? Basically, barrier is nothing but restriction. Restriction can be of how many types? Two types. Tariff and non-tariff. Sir, what is tariff barriers? What are non-tariff barriers? We have already studied in the other chapter. So now I'm not going to explain again. So when I'm converting non-tariff barrier into tariff barrier, I'm providing what? I'm reducing the restrictions. Non-tariff barriers may heavy restrictions will be there. Tariff barrier may less restrictions will be there. So when I'm converting non-tariff barriers into tariff barriers, restrictions are there. I'm not saying restrictions are not there. Non-tariff may restrictions will be high, tariff may restrictions will be less. So I'm converting non-tariff into tariff, means restrictions are there, but I'm only reducing the restrictions. When I reduce the restrictions, what will happen? International market will have access to my market, domestic market. Special privileges to less developed countries, obviously. I'm giving them like developed countries will should give more privileges to underdeveloped or developing countries. In GATT, what used to happen? In GATT, what used to happen? Sir, in GATT, developed countries used to exploit whom? Developing countries. But that should not be the case where in WTO. In WTO, special benefits will be given to how? Less developed or underdeveloped countries. By whom? Developed countries. Next, transparent dispute resolution mechanism. So this was a problem in GATT also. So if there is any violation of rules, if there is any problem between two countries, they should themselves sort it out. They should themselves sort it out through what? Consultation. But sir, what happens? Sir, let us say China has violated some rules for international trade with India. So what will happen? India and China should sit together and sort it out. But sir, if it is not happening, if India and China are unable to sort it out through consultation, then what will happen? It will result in failure. And in case if there is a failure in resolving the dispute between two countries by themselves, case will be transferred to whom? Dispute resolution mechanism of WTO, who will take care. This is called what? Transparency. First, we both will try to take care of the issue. If we are unable to solve, you are not listening to me nor I am listening to you, that will be a complete failure. In that case, what we will do? We will transfer the case to WTO ka dispute resolutions. They will take care. Next, progressive liberalization. As I already told you, all the issues between two countries, all the restrictions between two countries will be liberalized. Means will be sorted out today only. No, over a period of time, restrictions will be reduced. When restrictions are removed over a period of time, that is called liberalization. It is similar to freer trade. Clear? Next, transparency in decision making. Clear? Any trade related decision should be taken in which manner? Transparent manner. Let us say India and Australia wants to enter into trade. When India and Australia is entering into trade, it is affecting other countries also. I repeat, India, let us say India enters into an agreement with Australia saying that all the spices which are produced in India, we will export only to, I repeat, we will export only to Australia. I repeat, India and Australia are entering into an agreement saying that whatever spices are produced in India, India will only export to Australia. In that case, what will happen? If export is only to Australia, other countries will get affected. So when two countries are entering into an agreement wherein a third country is also getting problems affected because of our agreement, we should make them understand. We should not enter into such agreement. Transparency should be there. We should ask them, take their permission, why they are facing problem, how to resolve the problem, then enter into an agreement. Protection of domestic industries, obviously, because if I keep importing, what will happen? Indian economy will get affected. I keep importing mobile phones from China, Indian mobile phone industry will get disturbed. So that is why tariff should reduce gradually. If like let us say electronics ka market is very big in India, but majority of the electronics come from China, Japan, USA. Today, what will I do? Today itself, since I know that India does not have electronic market of its own, Indian government knows that India does not have a big electronic market on its own. That is why it is importing everything. Just because now what is Indian government does? If Indian government reduces the tariff from 10% to 2% today itself from 10% to 2%, Indian government reduces the tax. Assume that government already knows that India may electronic market is very big, but very less number of people produce manufacture electronics in India. So there is only one option left for India: import from other countries. To encourage imports, Indian government reduces tax rate from 10% to 2%. What will happen? Imports will increase in India. When imports are increasing in India, domestic industry will get affected. Whatever two, three people who are already manufacturing, they will also close their business. That is why from 10% to 2%, don't make it in 1 or 2 days. Over a period of time, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, slowly reduce the tax. 10 to 9.8, 9.8 to 9.5, slowly over a period of time, keep reducing. In that case, what will happen? Slowly, imports will also increase and domestic manufacturers will also not have any problem. Clear? Next. Greater competitiveness, obviously discourage unfair practices. Clear? Unfair practices mean don't do anything which is unethical. And then we have general prohibition of quantitative restrictions. Clear? What do we mean by this? Clear? Free, clear. If I feel that, I repeat, if I feel that the domestic economy is getting affected, I repeat, if I feel that the domestic economy is getting affected because of imports, if I keep importing from other countries, Indian manufacturers will face problem. In that case, what will I do? I will restrict the free flow of trade by imposing what? Tariffs. I will increase the tariff rate to discourage what? Imports. I hope you understood. So these are some points related to WTO principles. Clear? Okay. So any doubts till now? I hope everything is clear. So let us start with next concept. Last two concepts are pending here, sir. Clear? Last two concepts are pending. That is WTO problems are there and WTO ka overview of agreements. Let us just go through once. Now, now let us see overview of WTO agreements. Some examples of other agreements what WTO has. Examples of agreements what it has. Number one, agreement on agricultural items. Obviously, agricultural trade was not promoted by GATT. That is now promoted by WTO. Next, clear. Then we have agreement on SPS, sanitary and phytosanitary measures. Clear. That also we have already seen what it is. Agreement on textiles and clothing, that is merchandise. So this merchandise was not there in GATT. It is there in WTO. Agreements on TBT, technical barriers to trade. Clear. TBT means what? So technical barriers to trade. TBT means what, sir? Technical barriers to trade. Just a second. I think some issue. One second. Technical barriers to trade. Clear. Technical barriers to trade. What are barriers to trade? We already know. Clear. To remove what? Unnecessary trade barriers means we have seen so many agreements which are reduced by what? Trade agreements. Next, agreements on trims. That is clear. Country receiving trims agreement means country receiving the investment should not impose investment measures. Let us say some person wants to invest in India. Let them invest. Don't put so many restrictions that that fellow will fear in investing. No, restrictions should be there, but they should be restrictions should be there, but they should be limited. If you impose so many restrictions for licensing, for this, that, this, what will happen? That fellow will not invest in India, right? Clear? So a first agreement is to promote agriculture. Second agreement is to promote sanitary and sanitary measures. Means what, sir? Uh, you should you should not import and export. Don't promote importing and exporting those things which have a effect on what? Human and plant life. Textile and clothing agreements to promote textiles. Technical barriers to trade to reduce the trade barriers. Trims agreement by let them invest in India with less restrictions. Put restrictions, but restrictions should be less. Anti-dumping agreements to reduce the dumping. What is anti-dumping? We have already seen. Next, customs valuation agreement, because every country में customs का calculation will be different. So in order to standardize or in order to make sure that the customs calculation are perfect, customs valuation agreement is there so that everyone knows, all the countries know how customs is calculated. Agreement on pre-shipment inspection, like let us say India is importing something from China, it should be allowed to check the quality, price, valuation, everything before importing it to India. Because after importing, what will I do? First, before importing only, let me check whether I am satisfied with the product or not. Agreement on rules of origin means rules of origin means it will tell you from its rules of origin means you should clearly tell from which country it is manufactured and from which country it is imported. Let us say, for example, manufacture may happen in China. From China, it may be sent to US. From US, it might be imported to India. It should not be written made in USA. It should be written made in China. That is called what? Rules on origin. Means from where that product has manufactured. It might see China will send to Australia, Australia will send to UK. From UK, London, we are importing to India. What is the rule of origin? China. From where is it exactly manufactured? Next, agreement on import licensing procedures. If someone wants to import and export, licensing requirements are there. Restriction should be less. Agreement on subsidies. Like if Indian government wants to import something, let us say some X thing India wants to import, which is rarely available in India. So in order to ensure that other countries export to India, some subsidies should be provided, some benefits. Agreement on safeguards. Clear. Agreement on safeguard means when imports increase, when imports suddenly increase, what will happen? Domestic manufacturers will get affected. When suddenly imports are increasing, what will happen? Domestic industry will get affected. Everything I'm bringing from other country, manufacturers in India will get problems. That is why what will I do when something like that happens? Suddenly imports surge, increase. I will restrict the imports. I will stop the imports. They are called what? Agreement on safeguards. Then we have general agreement for trading services. I can trade in goods also. I can trade in services also. Agreement related to IPRs, intellectual property rights. Clear? Agreement related to understanding what rules of dispute settlement, DRS. Clear? Next. Agreement on trade review policy mechanism means what? Agreements between two or more countries, trade policies between two or more countries will be monitored on a regular basis. This is one more example. These are all examples of agreement. They might, there is no explanation for this. Just you have to remember these names. Plurilateral trade agreement. It has two types of agreements here. Civil aircraft agreement. If India wants to buy aircraft from other countries, there should be an agreement. An agreement for government procurement. If Indian government want to procure something from other governments, what should be the terms and conditions? So these are some agreements, examples of agreements which are there in WTO. They can ask for 2 marks, nothing great. And the last thing is problems. See, what were the disadvantages of that? There were mostly, I'm not telling all, mostly they were solved by WTO. But still, even WTO has some problems. Future may WTO may be replaced by some other organization, right? GATT had problems, and who replaced it? WTO. Now WTO is having problems. It might be replaced by whom? Some other organization in future. We don't know. Okay. So let us see what are the problems that WTO has. Problem number one. Progress of multilateral negotiations is very slow. Sir, multilateral negotiations means not one or two. Multiple countries will be there. Let us say 4 or 5 countries are there. Sir, 4 or 5 countries have to negotiate with each other and then enter into an agreement. You think all the countries come, ministers and all will have enough time that every 1 week or every 10 days or every 1 month they will come and meet? No. Sir, every country has its own time. Every country should take out time and meet with each other. All the countries should agree with each other. Then only that agreement will be prepared. But you think that will be like they'll just meet for a couple of days, they'll just have tea together, sit together, sign an agreement? No. It takes years and years to get an agreement signed between multiple countries. So even in WTO, so agreements, preparation of agreements and negotiations is very slow. Why? Every country may time should be there. Time is not there. Everyone has their own terms and conditions. Complex agreements creating uncertainties in global trade. So if two countries, like let us say two countries, if they want to prepare an agreement of trade between each other, I repeat, if two countries want to prepare trade agreement with each other, they have to get it certified by whom? WTO. WTO should certify, right? And there are a lot of like terms and conditions that WTO says. It becomes what? Complex. Lot of time is taken, lot of energy is wasted. WTO's permission is required. Next, liberalization of agriculture and textile has been negligible. Sir, uh, agriculture and textile ka merchandise ka trade was not at all there in GATT. In WTO it is there, but slowly. It's very slow, very rare. Clear? Agriculture and textile ka trade is there, but it is very less. Even in WTO also it is very less. Clear? Promises made in Doha and Uruguay round not materialized. Sir, so many things were decided in Uruguay round and Doha round, like in meetings held in Uruguay and meetings held in Doha. So many things, like so many promises were made by WTO. Like, agricultural trade we will promote, merchandise trade we will promote, agreements we will make it faster, we will reduce the complexities, difficulties in entering into agreements. So many things they decided, not yet materialized. Still, problems are there. Lack of developed countries providing market access to developing countries. Even today, developed countries prefer other developed countries only. See, clear. Developed countries will prefer developed countries only. Developed countries are not preferring having a trade with what? Developing countries. That is one more problem. See, in GATT, what used to happen? Developed countries used to exploit developing countries. Here, they are not exploiting. That problem is gone. But problem, they are not giving preference to developing countries. US will give to UK, not to India. Why? Because India is a developing country. US is a developed country. So developed countries giving preference to whom? Another developed countries rather than developing countries. Next, high tariff rates affecting exports. Sir, some countries like India have very high taxes. When very high taxes are there, exports will reduce, imports will also reduce. Tariff escalation, suddenly I'm increasing the tariffs. Suddenly, slowly tariffs are increasing, slowly import and export taxes are increasing, because of which international trade is getting affected. And then preferential tariff becoming useless. Sir, what is preferential tariff? We have already seen in other chapters. Clear? And now what is happening? Underdeveloped and developing countries are always at a disadvantage. Because of all these problems, developed countries are not preferring developing countries. That is why what is happening? Developing countries like India and underdeveloped countries like Pakistan, Kenya, Africa, South Africa, they are always at a disadvantage. Clear? So this was a very small chapter, and it's purely theoretical. Only thing you have to know is remember the points, but concept you have to remember where in trade agreements. Clear? So let us close the class now, and next chapter we will start tomorrow. Clear? Bye everyone. If anyone has any doubts, please let me know. Clear? Bye.